Hi everybody, it's Carrie with Park Seeds app from Seed to Spoon. I'm out here in my garden and it is a beautiful day here in Zone 7 in Oklahoma City, and I am going to be transplanting my salsa plants this week. So I'm doing this slightly later than anticipated, but our weather has kind of been very flip-floppy. Our lows at night had been in the 40s, sometimes going down into the 30s. So I did not feel comfortable getting my tomatoes and peppers out unless I had some sort of protection, but I just wanted to make sure that I babied them along and that I waited until the temperatures were great. I like to wait until the nighttime temperatures are at least hitting 45, no lower than that. Preferably 50s, and I love those temperatures for the tomatoes, the lows, and then up to, whatever your highs are in the day. But I always am watching the forecast and making sure that I pay really close attention to the temperatures for the lows, because I don't want to stunt them, especially those tomatoes and peppers. They can be very sensitive to the low temperatures. So I'm very careful whenever I go about transplanting these plants. So over the past of this last week or so, I've been working on hardening these plants off. And what I mean by that is by every time that I would get up in the morning, I would go to our shop area where we have our seeds started, and I would bring out my biodome of plants and bring them out here to the garden where they are going to be and give them a little bit of sun and just get them used to the temperatures and the weather out here and the wind, especially here in Oklahoma. We get lots of wind. And just get them used to the environment that they're gonna be in. And I slightly, each day, increase the amount of time that they're out and the amount of sun that they get until I feel like they are hardened off and they are ready to be planted where they're gonna be. So for all of these salsa plants, I have a smart pot ready to go for them. It is a round raised bed, one of their 100-gallon ones, and a purple one at that I'm excited for. I absolutely love these smart pots. They are super simple. You just take them, simply open them up, unwrap them, put some soil in them, and they are ready to go. And the soil that I do is a Mel's mix. So it's a mixture of equal parts of vermiculite, peat moss or coconut coir, and then compost. So that way I have the soil all ready to go and I am ready to plant all in it. So here's my smart pot that I have all set up and ready to go. And as you can see, I already have it all set up and I have a bunch of soil in it. And I even have a tomato cage already in here. This is one of the tomato cages from Park Seed, and these ones are super sturdy. I absolutely love having the square ones like this because it really holds up to our Oklahoma winds as opposed to like those little circle ones. I just find them to be really weak and hardly ever last through the season. So these I've had for a few years now and they've worked amazing. Absolutely love them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these planted out. So my plan for this, what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to plant the tomato right here, my bush tomato. So my Roma is gonna go right here where this, I have a cage ready for it. And then I'm going to put my peppers on the other side over there where they can get sun. So the sun rises over in this direction and then comes over and sets over here. So I didn't want it getting shaded too much from my tomato, but the things I do want to be shaded from my tomato are gonna be like my cilantro especially. So I'm gonna put my cilantro over on this side, along with things like I'm going to put like the basil and marigold along over here too, so it'll get plenty of morning sun, but then it'll be a little shaded in the afternoon, but I'm not too worried about it. And the chives will go along over here too. And so this should be a really nice setup here. I should fit most everything in here. I'm going to put everything in here except my vining tomato. I'm going to put that up against a trellis somewhere else here afterwards. So I'm going to get everything else set up and planted in here, and I'm going to go about direct seeding a lot of these over here on this side. I'm going to direct seed some of the chives and the cilantro because I did get some of the sprouting, but those ones are really easy just to direct seed to outside. And they come up pretty fast when you're outside. So I'm going to do that. I'll have some at different stages of their life as well. I might go ahead and do that with marigold, even though I already have like 5 of them out here. But I just love marigolds too, and they are such an amazing companion plant. So I might as well add a couple more seeds while I'm at it here and just have a whole bunch of beautifulness over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and get planted out. Okay, so now I have all of those transplanted out and some more seeds started for things like my cilantro and the chives and some more basil too. And I have everything going right now. I'm gonna give this a little time to rest, and then next video I will go through and I will show you how I go about fertilizing them, and I will keep you updated on every step of the way that I do with my salsa garden. And now that I have this all planted out, I'm gonna go through and add all of these into the app, into my garden, so that way I can keep tabs on them and remember the dates that I came in and I planted these out. And I can go through and document things like when I watered them last, when I fertilized, if I see any pests, or if I harvest them, all of those things. I can just keep track of my plants all in one place. So I always go through and make sure I put them into my garden in our app. Let's check in with everybody else throughout all the other zones and see what they're up to.
It has finally warmed up. I was able to transplant a couple of things. I got the cherry fountain here. I thought it looked really beautiful letting it cascade here, and then the cilantros are growing nicely and just sort of working out the placement here. Garlic chives looking really good. The chives have actually been a bit slow right now. Hopefully it'll catch up soon. But let me show you some of the other things. Oh, I love the smell of marigolds. These have definitely grown in size. The peppers and the marigolds even got some buds on it. I planted a couple of things in this green stock. This is pot pino, perfect for container. Even got a little bud right here. And then when you look down, I planted the cardinal basil. Let it grow in here. I've just been putting these plant starts out in the sun there. Let it enjoy some sunshine. That's the updates from California.
It's beautiful weather here in South Carolina, and I'm getting ready to transplant my seedlings out of the biodome and into my backyard garden. I am so excited that the weather is just perfect, and I can't wait to see what my seedlings grow. So I have the perfect spot all picked out, and I am getting ready to transplant my seedlings. They look great, and the weather is fabulous, so I think they are going to do wonderfully. I can't wait to get all of my ingredients for my salsa growing.
Hi everybody, Lani here from the Transplant Garden. As an update for the Salsa Garden Challenge that I'm doing with these wonderful ladies, I am very excited to tell you that the seedlings are doing really great. You see me standing in this greenhouse right now, and behind me are some of the seedlings that I'm growing. These two are the varieties of seedlings that I am growing for the Salsa Garden Challenge. And the first one, this one is the Roma Organic. This one is the Park Whopper, which is an improved hybrid of tomato. So actually these two tomatoes are the two tallest tomatoes that I have in the garden. They're the first one that I've started, and as you can see, they're also in a 5-inch pot, which gives them a lot of room to expand the roots. So that's the reason why these two are the biggest tomatoes that I have in the garden. And as you can see, they look beautiful, don't they? All right, let's move on to the basil. Actually, I should have planted 4 plants in one pot, but that's totally fine. Unfortunately, slugs love them, so that's the reason why they have those, but I'm okay with it. They will be companion planted anyway. This one is one of the marigolds that I have in the garden, and these are really excellent in repelling some insects. One of them unfortunately got eaten by some bugs, and look like I just have only a handful of leaves, but I have 2 of these that look really good. One of them looks just okay, but they are still doing good in my opinion. So 2 more, I have the Park Swapper jalapeno and the sweet rainbow blend. So I am in a spot where I will be growing the vegetables for the Salsa Garden Challenge, and these are all smart pots. I was able to fill it up with potting soil, but actually the very bottom is partly unfinished compost, but the topmost layer is a combination of a good potting mix and some leaf compost. And as usual with mulch, so even if there's really nothing growing in here, I already started putting some mulch, because mulch is very beneficial for the soil organisms. I was planning to sow the chives for the Salsa Garden Challenge, but then I thought about just dividing the chives that I have in the garden. The beauty of growing chive is that it comes back year after year, especially in my zone. The best way to sow chive is actually by multi-sowing them. Cilantro have the tendency to bolt when the temperature becomes really high. So what I wanted to do here is to put it in a spot where it could be partly shaded at noon. So I'm gonna be sowing these seeds right here.
Hey, it's Bethany from Chicago Growing Zone 6A, and I'm here to give you an update on all the seeds that I'm going to be planting for my salsa garden. So we're still a few weeks away from average last frost, so all of the seedlings are still living inside with me under grow lights, but I think in next month's update, they should all be outside in the garden, so that'll be really exciting. But here is a look at how everything is doing. So almost everything is sprouted. I'm still waiting on some chives over here. I can see them down in the little holes. They just haven't popped up yet. But I've gone ahead and thinned most of my tomatoes and peppers. I still need to thin the basil, which smells delicious already. And then I've thinned some of my cilantro as well. But everything germinated really well. I think almost every seed I planted in here came up. So it was a little sad to have to thin some of them down. But I cannot wait to get these out into the garden. I absolutely love seeing all of those updates from everybody, and I'm so glad that their plants are doing so well, and I can't wait to see everybody's salsas. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you all next time.